Hello, sports fans. Wesley Daniel here, live with All Sports Media. I got my two guys with me tonight, Willie Allen and Lee Allen, and we are on round two of the Alabama High School Athletic Association playoffs. We had the privilege to do our first ever playoff game last week with our Hatton Hornets traveling over to Madison Academy. And guys, we'll kind of touch on that just for a little bit now. Fantastic football game. I don't think Hatton played their best game. And if you look at, everybody's talking about the officiating. Lee, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like 14 penalties to 1 or 2. But if you look at the big picture, okay, late in the game, Hatton went for 2, and that would have made it 21-20. So they had their chances to overcome what a lot of people are upset about. And I think if you talk to Stover, he would tell you we had our chances. We got to learn to capitalize.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of penalties. I mean, there's no doubt there was, but at the same time, I felt like Haddon still had every opportunity, they're still in the ball game, play here, play there. We're talking different outcome.
Yep. And it's
So I had a former coach say something that it really hit home, and I'm going to do some research on it. But if you go for 3 times, if you score 3 touchdowns and you go for 2 one time and get it, it would have been a tie ball game. If you had got it twice, you win by 1. So I'm going to go through the numbers of the high school this year and just look at it and see how many 2-point conversions was done and how many were got compared to field goals kicked to that. That's my off-season thing I'm going to do. It's going to take me a little while, but I'm going to do that numbers.
See what the percentage of success on the 2-point conversion would be, Lee.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be higher than the extra point.
I think so, because you're going to have, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A is about when they start using kickers. But, all the smaller classifications go for 2.
Well, I don't care what level of you get at. That point after is huge.
It is.
And in high school, they kick off a block most of the time. And which, in my opinion, yes, it helps them elevate to football. But you're talking about like a 2x2 or 2.5 by 2.5 block that the holder's got to catch, get it put down, and then the guy's got to sweep the leg through to kick it. And so it's a catch-22, in my opinion, on the kick by putting it on a block, because that holder is the key to getting it caught, down, laces correct before that sweeping leg comes through.
Well, let's knock out this.
All right. So before we jump into 1A, let's talk undefeated teams.
Okay.
All right. There's no undefeated teams now in 7A. In 6A, and here's the thing: we're going to talk about them, but this one loss you have from now on could send you packing for the rest of the year.
It ain't good. It will.
And so in 6A, you got Clay Chalkville, Muscle Shoals, and Saraland. All 3 are still undefeated. In 5A, Fairview, Northside, Williamson, still undefeated. 4A, Anniston, Hamilton, Plainview, St. Michael, West Morgan, all undefeated still. 3A, Mars Hill, Piedmont, Southside Selma, still undefeated. 2A, Laverne, undefeated. 1A, Appalachian, Hubbardville, Leroy, Maplesville, McKenzie, Wadley, still undefeated. All right, and AISA, Patrician Academy, and Macon East Academy. That's all undefeated teams still in the state of Alabama. All right, and guys, I don't know if y'all realize this, but last week in round 1 of the playoffs, we had 6 overtime games. 5 of them coming in 5A classification. That tells you from 1 to 4 in a lot of these regions, they're tight. They're good. They don't just make the playoffs. Your 4 seed is as good as another 1 seed.
And one thing, let's go ahead and give a plug in real quick to Alabama High School history for providing all of our data.
Absolutely. And so the biggest comeback win last week, Pelham was up 21-7 at the half. Hueytown came back and tied the game at 28 and eventually won 35-28 in overtime. Andalusia was up 15-0 over UMS Wright, and they came back and tied it, and Andalusia ended up winning 28-25 on a field goal. If you look at Priceville came back, Priceville was down 2 scores with less than 3 minutes left to go in the game, tied it up at end of regulation on a 2-point conversion. And we've seen their kicker in, week 9 when Lawrence County went to Priceville. And he's got a legit leg. He wins it for Priceville. Russellville, we talked about them when we were calling the Hatton game, and they were down the whole game and come back, forced overtime, and won it in overtime. So a lot of exciting games last week. I'm not going to get into the most dominant wins. The upset victories, Jacksonville was a 20-point underdog, and they beat Ramsey 14-7. Bullock County continued their greatest season ever with a 21-7 upset win over Oak Grove. Marion County, a 14-point underdog, beat Winterboro. And Opelika, they beat Hewitt-Trussville 21-27. And Opelika was a huge underdog last week. Guys, I had it right here a while ago, but I want to say they were a double-digit underdog, I do believe, and end up winning that game. We talked about Priceville. We talked about Russellville. Russell County, with 8 seconds remaining, scores to beat Gulf Shores 33-30. In 6A, all 8 1 and 2A advanced. It's the 6th time that all the top seeds have advanced in any classification. In 2A, all the Region 2 teams advanced. And the same thing happened with 4A. Region 1 teams as they move on to the second round. Only 3 4 seeds advanced to the second round: Daphne, Mobile Christian, and Providence Christian. And I seen a stat that, did y'all see how many private schools in 3A are remaining?
Yes.
That's huge. So teams that have never won a second round game: Baker, Cottage Hill, Priceville, Russell County, and Vincent. They've never won a second round game. Teams that have never hosted a second round game: Baker, St. Michael, Southside Selma, Providence Christian, University Charter School. teams with great home records in the South round. And I'm saying all this because as we get to picking here, this is going to be huge. Briarwood is 10-4 when they're hosting at home. Handley is 7-1 when they're hosting. Anniston 7-1 when they're hosting. Lynette 13-3. Piedmont, keep this one in mind. There's an upset that they're calling for right here. Piedmont 11-2. Leroy 11-3. The longest ranked streak in the state of Alabama is by Fife at 187 consecutive weeks in the poll. That's dating back to the 2009 season. The Fife Red Devils are currently ranked number 7. And Fife is currently sitting on, this is an amazing record to me, okay? 343 consecutive games without being shut out.
That's impressive.
I mean, Fife tough, okay? When you talk about 343 games and you ain't been shut out, the longest streak is T.R. Miller with 354. And last week, Hatton played Madison Academy, and that was Coach Godsey's 249th win. They beat Anniston this week. That'll be Coach Godsey's 250th win. Looking at this right here, my buddy Keith Etheridge, who is the coach at Auburn, hit his 200th win last week. So he joins the 200 win club. That's a lot of wins in high school football, guys.
Yep.
A lot of wins. All right. We went through some history. We went through some crazy stats. Lee, last week in 1A, let's talk about the upsets.
Yeah, so last week, there really wasn't any in 1A. Most all the favorites won, I believe. I'm gonna double check that.
And where we're getting our spread from, back again, we want to give the credit to Alabama high school history, football history. Great website, unbelievable amount of data there that does a great job providing data. So if you want to know something about high school sports in Alabama, that's where you need to look.
So last week, Southern Choctaw County. I'm trying to make sure I got this right because there's 2 of them on here. They end up getting beat by Autauga. Never mind. Squash that one.
So all the favorites won last week in 1A.
All right. So in 1A this week, you got Addison and Berry, Appalachian, Marion County, and right now, Addison is a 19-point favorite. Let me pull that up for the viewers so they can see this. All right, so Addison is a 19-point favorite over Berry Fayette. Hubbardville is a 23-point favorite. Leroy is a 22-point favorite. Appalachian, Marion County, Appalachian's 11-point favorite. Maplesville, probably the most dominant team in 1A, is a 29-point dog. McKenzie, 31. Guys, y'all see an upset in 1A this week?
I like all the favorites this week.
So one game that I'm gonna pencil in, and I'm not gonna call it an up. It'd be an upset if it happened, but I think Hackleburg is gonna play Hubbardville better They played the last game of the year. They played 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was 50-20 was the score. But I believe that Hackleburg's going to keep it close. That is the only game that I would circle as an upset in 1A.
Well, the closest game is 11 with Marion County being a 11-point dog right there. Lee, you sent me something earlier on the Massey ratings and just looking at some of that. So I don't know where they get some of their numbers from, but I'd like to put $1 on some of them. Marion County and Appalachian on here. On Massey ratings, they have Appalachian 35-34. So it's funny how you have two different ones, and one's got it a 1-point game and one's got an 11-point game. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I could see Marion County upsetting Appalachian right here. Out of that whole classification right there, that would be the one that I would see. All right. Let me bounce us to 2A right here. Here's your 2A bracket. And I'm going to let y'all start talking about that one while I pull up the other 2A.
The game I like on this one that I think is going to be a really good game is Lochapoka at Providence Christian. I think that's going to be a very good game to watch. I like Lochapoka, but I think that game's going to be a lot closer. I could see it being almost like that Haddon Madison Academy game that we did. I think that's going to be one of those. Not really an upset. I like the Red Bay team to beat Southeastern. I just think Red Bay wins it at home.
Red Bay's hard to beat at home.
But I still think this one right here is Laverne has still got to be your team you got to knock off Laverne. And there's also another one. It's hard. Tuscaloosa Academy could also be another one that I would watch. Not really ready to predict that one, but I think Pleasant Grove wins, but I think that game is very close.
I like Tuscaloosa Academy this week. That's my upset in 2A.
Mark that down, Lee.
I got it.
I'm with you. I think Red Bay beats Southeastern. Southeastern is a fairly new school. But I'm going to call a crazy upset right here. I think Vincent beats Pisgah.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Tuscaloosa Academy. It's going to be mine. I'm going to have to go with Lee on this one.
I'm looking at the Massey ratings to see what they say on Tuscaloosa Academy and the Vincent game. All right, so they have Vincent 28, Pisgah 30. They have Southeastern beating Red Bay by 7. And on here, they have Tuscaloosa Academy 37-14 over Pleasant Valley. So, Lee, you got those marked. I could see a little flip right there. Like I said, I think Vincent's gonna have too much for Pisgah, but I'm down with the Tuscaloosa Academy as well. But I think it's going to be an exciting week in 2A football. All right, we've kind of sped through that one a little bit. Let me pull up some 3A right here.
We lost Lee, it looks like.
Lee went ghost on us. Tell him to come on back in.
Yeah.
Willie Wilson. There he is right there.
Somebody called. I don't know how to
hit the ignore button.
I did. I did, and it made me black screen.
I got you. All right. So
the thing about the Massey rating before we go, you can plug in any two teams and they'll give you a spread. So that's pretty neat to see.
It is. It is. All right. So this week in 3A football, guys, Gordo and Colbert County right off the bat is going to be a really good football game. Colbert County is going to give Gordo all they want and more.
I like Gordo big in that one. That's my upset with Gordo.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. The Massey rating has Gordo 42-24.
That's 2 weeks in a row that you picked Gordo as your upset, and the upset, and they keep getting the numbers wrong on it, but hey, it is an upset by the numbers, so I guess you can take it again.
Gordo is it. It's always they've always got the tradition. Excuse me. The tradition at Gordo is just one that you can't go against.
You think they're recruiting players down there at Gordo, Willie?
I do not.
I think it's just some hard-nosed football, and they buy in.
They play it the way it's supposed to be played. Always have. I just and I if you want to see it, I know Lee will vouch for this, but when you go to Gordo to watch, it don't matter if it's football or baseball. Coach Brinkley used to carry his team in baseball down there all the time, and it was something. Gordo will always be a special place.
All right.
Yeah, that's where my father-in-law went to school, so I hear about all the Gordo stories, and it is a special place.
Well, looking at this list, I mean, I don't see Geraldine beating Westbrook Christian.
I like Mars Hill more than 20.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to say it. Give me 5 to beat Piedmont.
Oh.
I like that one.
Well, I just looked that one up, and on Massey ratings, 5 is an 18-point dog to Piedmont. Piedmont is the number 54 team in the state, and 5, according to Massey rating, is 129.
But you know what? When it gets to the playoffs, they're both 1-0.
You're correct. You're correct. But I'm on board. Mars Hill is going to be hard to beat, and I think it's going to come down to Mars Hill and Southside Selma.
Yeah, I look for Southside Selma to win big this week.
I mean, they only won by like 25 last week.
But I think they started very slow. If I'm not,
they had a 2-yard punt and give them short field position. They went down. They were down 7-0. And then Southside Selma, with only like 10 seconds left, threw one deep when they were already up 14 or 17. So neither team shook hands after the game.
So
that's some inside information right there, Lee.
That's 100% inside information. On the Massey ratings, it has Southside Selma a 17.5 favorite. So, all right, we're going to skip 4A.
Who was your 3A pick, Wesley?
Huh?
Did you have a 3A pick?
Not an upset. I mean,
okay.
If I was taking one, I'm taking Gordo. I feel like, but I think Colbert County is going to beat Gordo. So I really don't see an upset coming, in that classification this week.
And one more time, while we're going to do it, we're going to continue doing it just because we want to get these guys there, or whoever it is. All our data is coming from Alabama high school football history. So just want to keep giving that plug there.
They make us look smart.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to bounce to 5A.
So I'm going to start right here in 5A. The game that I'm interested to watch is Russellville going to Briarwood, because that would be Russellville going to Briarwood, which also has Chris Heaps, Coach Heaps, that was at Russellville for so long, is there in baseball coach. So, it's a little rivalry game there. I think that will be a good one. I think that will be a good one to watch. But we'll see how it is. I like Northside. I'm still going Northside. I like them to win big in this one.
So I feel like Moody's going to beat Prosperville by more than 13. I could see that getting up to a 3-touchdown score. St. Clair County and Scottsboro, the line is even. I'm going St. Clair County on that one. And I'm looking for your Briarwood game here, Willie, just so I can conversate on it. They don't have these in order.
So speaking of the Moody and Jake Gaines, he is the favorite to be the Sanford head coach.
Okay.
That wouldn't surprise me. I hope he stays because he's good for high school football. But
yeah,
he played at Georgia. He coached at Thompson, and the guy's just a machine. So Willie, on Massey ratings, Briarwood is a 14-point favorite over Russellville.
Yeah, I think it's just, like I said, I think that's going to be a good game. It's hard to win at Briarwood. The Russellville had a great comeback last week. So I think it's going to be, they've got to momentum up. But I think Briarwood's hard to beat.
So here's an interesting one for you. Fairview is 11-0. Jacksonville is 6-5. On here, Fairview's a 3-point favorite. On the Massey rating, it has Jacksonville 21-20 over Fairview.
That is my upset of the week.
So you think Jacksonville's going to upset Fairview?
Yes. I think Fairview is just so one-dimensional with running the football. And I think Jacksonville coming off their 20-point comeback win last week, they got the momentum, and I'm going with Jacksonville over Fairview.
So Jacksonville did beat Ramsey, who was a 20-point dog. I'm gonna go with my upset right here is Briarwood. It's hard to go to Briarwood and win.
I also think another one to watch for. I'll go something different. I will take Andalusia over Central Clay County.
Woo, Willie. Boy, you reaching now.
Hey,
I mean, Andalusia just beat UMS Wright. I mean, woo, boy. All right.
That's the first time I've been wrong.
It won't be the last time either one of us has been wrong. All right, let me bounce some 5A out of here.
But 6A is where my upsets are.
Uh-oh. I got a feeling I know which one you're going to call right now, and you're going to have some folks north of us upset.
My upset of the week. Give me the Hartselle Tigers over Homewood.
The Hartselle Tigers. What you got, Lee?
I got Hartselle over Homewood as well.
Okay.
Well, and I don't even think it's close.
I think it's going to be close. I do agree that Hartselle's going to win. My 6A upset is going to be Fort Payne over Mountain Brook. That is my 6A upset. I'm looking right here. Fort Payne beat Athens pretty handily last week. I think they're. I don't think they're getting the love that they should be getting. Mountain Brook beat Mortimer Jordan, who's kind of down, and that's my upset is Fort Payne over Mountain Brook. And guys, Parker is extremely athletic. I think Muscle Shoals is going to struggle with Parker, but I see Muscle Shoals winning late.
Is that game at Parker?
At Muscle Shoals.
At Muscle Shoals, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it is at Muscle Shoals. Clay Chalkville walks the dog with Gadsden City. I think Saraland beats Spain Park handily. Bessemer City don't have a chance against Pike Road. I say that everybody's got a chance, but Pike Road, it will handle them pretty handily. What do you guys think about the Hueytown Russell County game?
I like Hueytown in that one.
Hueytown just beat Pelham last week.
Yeah, I like Hueytown in that one, but that's when you really could just flip a coin, in my opinion.
So Benjamin Russell beat Lee's pick to upset last week, Central Tuscaloosa. I see obviously they're a heavy favorite against Theodore this week. And I I don't think Theodore has an answer for Ben Russell. But I'm on board with the Hartselle pick. I think the Hartselle Tigers, I think they scuff up Homewood just a little bit. All right, let me get our 7A pulled up.
And while you're doing the 7A, I'd like to give a shout out to the flag football. They're doing playoffs as well. And Austin and Decatur won their first round game. Austin beat Albertville 32-7. And Decatur beat Gadsden City 15-14. The next round, Austin appears to go to Prattville, and Decatur goes to Homewood. That's a little flag football.
All right, the flag football.
I don't think there's anybody else around that plays. Let me check the 1A through 5A.
While you pulling that, we'll talk about some 7A right here.
This one right here, I'm gonna have to go against Wesley's buddy. I like Daphne over Auburn.
Okay.
I hate to another great friendship and everything, but I just think Auburn traveling to Daphne is just going to be a little too much.
Well, Auburn did beat Vestavia Hills last week. I'm sticking with my boy Keith. He with 200 wins, he knows how to win. You know, in looking at this, I don't think Fairhope has anything for Central Phoenix City. But my upset right here is Opelika.
That's mine as well.
That's a good one, Wesley. That's a good one, guys.
I mean, Opelika did knock off Hewitt last week, and I'm be honest with you, I think Opelika is a little bit better than what people are giving them credit for. And how crazy is this? Auburn wins, Opelika wins, and here's what I'm looking at. Okay, Auburn wins, Opelika wins right here on the right side of the bracket. They right there beside each other. The winner of that game could play in the state championship in a couple weeks.
Who won that game during the regular season?
I don't remember that.
Let's see.
Auburn was the 2 seed. Opelika was the 3 seed.
Opelika beat them 17-10 week 3.
Okay. So that gets our 7A. Are we ready to get to the classification that we hang our hat on, guys?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, here's our 4A bracket.
Before we get started, Wesley, I feel like this is a great time to thank our game sponsor for this week as we go to West Morgan, and that's Greg Muse with River City Roofing will be our game sponsor. So thanks to Greg, and you can listen to us live on the radio there with a call from Trinity.
And we will be live from Trinity. And shout out to Greg. I know he's a huge supporter, him and River City for Coach Phillips.
And they're really big for all sports, all schools. But they do a lot.
They are. I mean, you know, Greg's son Carson played at West Morgan. He's now at Calhoun, and so Greg does do a lot, him and River City, and it doesn't go unnoticed at all. All right, so, you know, we talked a little bit about the Hatton game. They had every chance to win. but they're learning. Man, they are learning. And I'm gonna say this. I think I think if they had to do it over, there's some. I think Hatton kind of started trying to throw the ball a little bit sooner than what they should have, and if they'd have stuck to the running game, I think they'd have been okay.
Yeah, I think they're going deep as much as they did instead of working the short game was a huge factor. But hey, great season.
Hang on, I got a comment on Facebook right here. Thomas Ritchie, we're not forgetting 4A, big guy. We cover them pretty heavy, and we always let them go last. So we got you 4A love right here, buddy.
So his son plays at Hamilton. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Center and D line. He's a 10th grader.
As he says, y'all need to be picking them Aggies, is what he says.
Well, for Thomas, that's my upset right there. I've got the Hamilton Aggies over Deshler this week. I told y'all on the preview show I really like this Hamilton team, and that's my upset in 4A.
Okay. So,
and I think Deshler's a great team, but I think Hamilton, the game being at Hamilton, I think makes the difference. I feel like if the game was at Deshler would have it. But I think the game being on the road, and, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I hope and pray that Dale Lyles will keep us updated throughout the night because
he's got to be back because I seen my guys in South Dakota pheasant hunting right now.
Yeah, he'll be back.
But I'm going to say this. I think I can make a phone call, and if Dale don't keep us up to date, I think I could get Casey too.
Yeah, I think, and they're not going to.
And Thomas does a good job of keeping me. He sends me texts throughout the game, so we'll have it one way or the other, I think.
Hey, just so y'all know, our guy Lance Bradford says he still don't like Gordo. He's got too many bad memories down there.
Well, that goes back to the state finals in baseball.
So, hey, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Amber Tapscott. She, her son's at Muscle Shows running the football for them, and Amber has been a huge supporter of All Sports Media this year. Amber, I just want to give you a little shout out right there. We appreciate you, and our guy Preston, my man Engel, giving us a shout out on Facebook. He's been loyal to us as well.
But I'm gonna go ahead and say this: my game of round 2 is Hanley versus Jackson.
Come on,
that game right there is the game in round 2 over all classifications. That's the one I think is just so. I mean, I personally like Jackson in this game. But it's going to be a good ball game. We saw MA last week against Haddon, and I don't think 16 points is anywhere close. I think Anniston wins big. And I also like Alexandria over Plainview.
That's my upset of the week in 4A is Alexandria upset in Plainview.
It's mine as well.
Willie, on Massey ratings, they got Jackson as a 20.5-point favorite over Hanley. They got the score predicted 35-14 Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know. When I saw this number come across from our guys over at Alabama High School, history, I immediately circled. I said, "Give me Jackson."
All right. So according to Massey ratings, Jackson is the number 27 team in Alabama, and Handley is the number 57 team in Alabama.
But I think now that we've got just a few minutes to get on this West Morgan Good Hope game.
I think it's going to be a good game early. Good Hope likes to throw the football. They got a left-handed quarterback who likes to spin it. But last week, he did a good job under pressure finding the open guy. But here's what Good Hope has not seen. I don't think Cherokee County has got a Taylor on one side and a Deloney on the other side. And I'm right now, one of those two will have a strip sack that could possibly be taken to the house this week.
I just don't know if Good Hope has seen the athletes that they're going to see in Trinity.
Well, I mean, they did play Hamilton. Okay,
they did, but I just think that game at West Morgan's a hard place to play. They're probably already setting up chairs right now.
It's locked.
Hey,
at the Reb, coming to play at the Reb, listen, the fans are wild. They're loud. Coming to the Reb is going to be tough for Good Hope. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, and that's going to. I think the defensive backs, like you said, is going to be. I know you was talking about the DNs, but I think the defensive backs from West Morgan has to have a really good game. But I just think the running game at West Morgan is just too much.
The running game is tough. Titan is starting to get back into the flow from being back from his injury. Guys, I'll say it right now. I look for Banks in the secondary for West Morgan to have a big game. Last week Randolph scored on a double reverse pass that the West Morgan guy, had he turned and ran to the receiver, the guy would have caught it and he'd tackled him. He tried to make a play on it. He was backpedaling, and when he reached up for it, the ball basically tipped his fingertips, and Randolph guy caught it, and I mean, he was as wide open as I am right now, and almost got ran down by a West Morgan guy coming across the field. But I think this week, I do think, Randolph started trying to run some trick stuff, and I felt like West Morgan played it okay most of the time. I feel like Good Hope is going to try some deceiving plays to try to get momentum on their side. But I just think the West Morgan defense is going to be way more than Good Hope can handle.
I think – go ahead, Lee.
So my two players to watch, one for each team. I'm going to have to go with Makari Johnson. He's got 1,706 yards on the year, 28 touchdowns, had 4 last week. But the defensive back for Good Hope, Tyler Bird, I think he is going to be the key for Good Hope's success, if there is any, against West Morgan. He made several big stops last week against the running back for Cherokee County, Woods. And if he'll come in there and stick his head in there and prove to the other guys that they can play with West Morgan, it might be a ball game for the first, half. And if they can just get it to the fourth quarter, that's what they always say. If you can get it to the fourth quarter, it's anybody's ball game. So I think if Bird can make a play and a spark, I think that will give Good Hope all that they need.
I think West Morgan just jumps out quick. I personally could see Phillips having almost the same game plan against Haddon, just to where you may see an onside kick early. You may see something there just to get this game out of reach as quick as possible.
So, interesting right here. Good Hope's first loss of the season came 21-28 to Hamilton. And, Hamilton likes to throw the football. They like to spin it. Their second loss came 14-7 to Fairview. And Good Hope scored in the first quarter. They actually led 7-0 at halftime, and Fairview scored 2 touchdowns, one in the third and one in the fourth to win. And so, I'm not going to sit here and say they don't have a chance, because you always got a chance. But when you're looking at it, Good Hope's not a bad football team, but I just don't think in my opinion, I think if West Morgan played Hamilton, they're going to beat them. I think West Morgan will beat Fairview if they played Fairview. And so I think West Morgan is going to be a little more than what they can handle.
Wesley, can you pop that bracket up for 4A there?
Absolutely. So here's an interesting stat, okay? If you look at the tiebreakers, West Morgan wins this week, and Alexandria wins. West Morgan will go to Alexandria based on the rules of the bracket. If Plainview wins, Plainview comes to West Morgan. Okay? Now, let's just say that if Deshler wins this week and Anniston wins this week, and them two have to play each other, Anniston would have to come to Deshler. West Morgan would have been at home then for 3 straight rounds. If this works out, there's a possibility West Morgan could have to go to Deshler, and the winner going to Birmingham.
We got football to play because
we got a ton to play. I'm looking down the road at I don't think nobody wants to go to Deshler late in the season to play a football game.
Howard Chapel's a hard place to play at, but I think it ends this week to the Hammer.
I think going to Deshler late would be a similar scenario as what we've seen in Madison Academy last week. And I'm calling it like it is. But I think 4A is going to be tough this week. But I see Jackson beating Hanley. Hey, I want to give 2 shout outs right here. First shout out is to Bella Wright, East Lawrence, finishing 3rd in the 4A cross country. She's had a phenomenal season as a sophomore, and I mean this no disrespect to East Lawrence football, but I'm glad she got to run this race without being the mascot the night before, based on the stage that it was at. Does that make sense? And I think that helped her. And the other is your Lawrence County High School girls won the 5A state championship. The most decorated athlete in the history of Lawrence County sports was able to come back and finish 2nd in this race. Almost broke 19 minutes. And I didn't really understand this until just having conversation. Her being out so long and coming back and doing what she did shows the type of athlete that she really is. But the other young ladies stepped up to help that team. I think they beat Scottsboro by like 5 or 6 points. And that was a very close race. I got a comment right here. Thomas Ritchie said Good Hope is a good team, but I've seen both teams play. He says West Morgan will run their legs off. West Morgan by 21. So that's coming from somebody that's seen both of them play. But we've got some basketball that's already started. We'll be getting to basketball soon. We've got some kinks to work out, but we'll be getting to basketball soon. Guys, y'all got anything else?
Just remind everybody to join us 6:30 Friday night for the preview show, and then we'll get started at 7 o'clock with a kick.
Hey, I have not put the link out yet because I'm working on radio station number 4, which would be Rebel Nation. It's a chance that it'll be up and going. If Rebel Nation is up and going, that's what we'll be on. But if not, we'll be back on the one that we've been on most of the year, which is the Hornet's Nest. But I will update that Thursday. I should have an answer from the back end if we can make that happen in time. Other than that, Greg Muse, River City Roofing, we thank you. Guys, it's going to be a fun one in West Morgan. I'm glad it won't be as cold as it has been these last 2 days.
That's for sure.
But
but also, I want to give a shout out, or not a shout out, but a plug for them. If you are coming to the game Friday night, get there. I think they start about 5:50, and they do a walk of champions, and that's really neat to see. And everybody should come and support those kids. It's the band, it's the cheerleaders, everything.
I didn't know what that was. Okay. And I had to go make a blanket run for my flag throwing assistant who I get bruised from every Friday night. The night before when we were there watching. And I look up and I see the football players coming. Well, then it dawned on me, this is the Walk of Champions. So what it is, they're walking from their football facility to their locker room, which I guess will be their old locker room for football. And so they come around the baseball field and they come across the bridge, and there's fans everywhere lined up. And you are correct. Those kids, like I seen little kids high-fiving them. I seen them interacting with fans. And for high school, that's super cool. I think I really like that more than I like how Dessler comes down the hill. There at Dessler, I think that's cool as well. But the Walk of Champions 550 is pretty cool. If you've never seen it, I would encourage you to come out and possibility we may have a showing of it, but I can't say that just yet because we have to get set up and get ready to roll for the actual game.
Well, all right, guys. Look forward to Friday night.
All right. So y'all come join us. We'll post a link to which station we'll be on. Lee, you got anything else?
I don't.
Willie?
I'm good.
From Lee Allen, Willie Allen, Wesley Daniel, All Sports Media, we thank you for being with us. And we look forward to you listening to us on Friday night as we're at the Red.